Hey everyone, bear with me. This is my first time videoing myself. I'm here outside with a paint pouring project for you. And this is a tumbler that I have painted on a cake platform that spins. So I use the spinning to give my tumbler a unique pattern, the centrifugal force of that. And so I'm going to show you all my supplies and how I set it up, and then we'll do a pouring video and show you how I do that. And then I will also show you how I resin my mugs. And hopefully this is helpful and it helps you create something awesome. Are my paint pouring supplies for this project. I have my cake turning platform that spins very easily when I spin it. I have my tape, my gloves, my mug, and these are my paints that I'm using today. I'm using silver Master's Touch pre-mixed pouring liquid, and Berry Master's Touch pre-mixed, and the Artist Loft Gold pre-mixed, and I have put them in these squeeze bottles here. Then I have my sandpaper for sanding my mug before I paint it to make sure that the surface is rough enough for the paint to stick to it. And then I have my mug, which is from Michael's. It's an Artist Mind tumbler, metal with a straw and a lid. So we will then get to our setup and our sanding of the mug, how I tape this red cup to the center of the turntable to make my platform for the spinning to hold the mug, and then we'll get to pouring. Good morning everyone. I'm here in my inside studio today, which is just the corner of my living room. So if you don't have a complete studio, don't be discouraged. You can still do plenty of crafting projects, but I wanted to give you a little update on the video. There was some fails with the spinner and the tumbler video, and the spinner breaks in the middle, and the pattern doesn't quite turn out how I thought it would with the centrifugal force. So this is just a good example of try, fail, but still get something that looks good. So I just wanted to give you that little update, and also that the resin video, how I resin my tumblers, will be a separate video. Okay, so here we are in my outdoor studio today, and we're going to tape this cup to the turntable to anchor our tumbler on. So you want to center it as best you can to the turntable and tape from the top down around the turntable. So you want to run the tape all the way down the cup, down one side of the cup, and then center it on the turntable. And mine has little lines that helps me kind of get it in the center. If it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. So you tape one side, and then you want to tape, you don't want to tape it to your turntable if it's not going to turn. So I just fold that under so the tape can come off later. And then we want to tape the other side. So we tape the other side, not too much tape, down the side of the cup, and tape to the other side. And now it turns. It's not perfectly centered, but it works. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered to achieve the effect that we're going for. Then you want to take your tumbler, and with some 320 extra fine sandpaper, you want to sand your tumbler. Sand your tumbler until you see it kind of look rough. Remove the sticker from the bottom. Sand the bottom a little bit. Now the one reason I like this method of paint pouring is I feel like it saves on some paint. You don't need quite as much to get the whole mug covered. So, sanded our mug, and then we're going to clean it with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So I have my rubbing alcohol here and just a paper towel, Just put a little bit on the paper towel and clean the mug where you sanded it. The rubbing alcohol will just evaporate and dry. You don't have to worry about washing it. Sometimes I line the inside of my mug here with Vaseline to make sure I don't get any paint on the inside or it doesn't stick, but I'm not going to do that today. You don't have to. So clean your mug real good and put it on your turntable. The next step is to put our turntable into our paint studio, which is what I have this box here for that's taped up. My goal with this one is I want to try like kind of a more striped mug instead of a really mixed dirty pour. So I'm not going to mix my paints in a cup before I pour them. I'm going to use them from the squeeze bottle onto the tumbler. So now we're going to place this tumbler. We're going to place the tumbler into our painting studio here. And I'm going to try and get it close enough to the camera so that you can all see it. Yep. So we have our tumbler and our mug in our box that I've taped together. Yeah, that is spinning is loud, so try not to talk with it. So my thought today is that I'm going to put 3 stripes of paint on my mug. Silver on the outside, and again this was Master's Touch Silver pre-mixed pouring medium, and I've put it into a squeeze bottle. So I'm going to put silver here in this line, and then I'm going to put the Berry Master's Touch pre-mixed pouring medium, and I'll put links to all of my supplies if I can find them in the description below. And if you want to purchase one of my pre-made tumblers, there'll be a link to my website where you can purchase those. You can purchase them just painted or with a decal, and they'll have resin on them, makes them durable. So I'm going to start with this little bit of paint, and I'm going to spin it and see what the paint does, and then decide from there, and popping that little bubble, what I want to do with the rest of the mug. So let's spin and see if our paint starts to spread out. Yeah, it's starting to drip down the sides. We may not have enough paint on there yet. We might have to put a little more. But this way you don't waste a ton of paint trying to get it, to just naturally flow over the mug. So we're going to put some more gold on. And then we're going to put some more berry. And then we're going to put some more silver. And we're just going to keep spinning until we have the mug covered and we're happy with the outcome of the mug. And see, now you can see it's starting to flow down the sides of the mug. It always kind of flows one side more than the other at first, for some reason. And so I'm just going to keep spinning and adding paint. I'll speed up this process for you, and then we'll see the final outcome of it. So now you can see that I've added so much paint to the bottom that the silver here is covered up. So if you want more silver to be on the bottom, you just need to add some more on top of that paint that covered it up. And just add some more liquid to it. pop those paint bubbles. This method does take a little bit longer than a traditional paint pouring method because you just have to figure out if you have enough paint on there and get it to start running down. I'm going to have to get some more paint here. You don't have to use it from squeeze bottles. You can just use it straight from the bottle if you would rather. But I do like the lines that it forms when you do it this way. See, our stripes are moving down into different positions on the mug. Some are staying on the bottom and some are moving to the side here. Really, your ending is just whatever, oops, I didn't mean to do that, but it'll look cool. Whatever you do, the ending is always unpredictable because of this method of pouring. So now I'm just adding more paint so it runs down the sides a little bit more to those areas where it's not really covering. And you can just let it run and then twirl, which will give it different effects. The point of the twirling is it moves the paint off of the bottom of the mug without blowing on it, out of that indent in the mug, and thins it out so that you don't have a bunch of paint pooled up there. Our gold paint here doesn't seem to want to run as much as others. This side is practically covered. Now you can do a little, help it go down to the bottom there. So we need to do some more gold paint over here to get it to run down. Uh-oh. Oh no. Uh-oh. My turner just came apart, which is not going to be very helpful for me. Well, so that's what happens when you buy a cheap turner. You might want to spend a little more money than I did on that. So we will finish this with just regular paint pouring. I will show you my technique of blowing on the top of the mug. So this is, partly what to do, what not to do. I didn't quite get enough paint on here, I guess, for it to run the way I wanted it to. So I think it's always good to show fails in videos, so that people don't think that everything that people online that are showing them, that they don't think everything turns out fine all the time. So we're going to just blow on the top of the mug where the paint is pooled up and help it go down over the sides a little bit to the areas where we need more paint. It is slow to drip down and it could take a while to do so. So I'll speed that part up for you and then show you the final product once it dries and gets all covered. now I'm just tipping the board so that the paint can run off the bottom of the mug to different areas that need paint, since it's taking a long time to cover. I think maybe it could be because I'm outside and the temperatures are too warm. It's a sunny day here. Not sure. So I'm just trying to help the paint along a little bit. It doesn't really change your design at all. It kind of just helps the paint flow to those places where it's getting stuck. I mean, you could leave it for hours and hope that it continues to flow over. Now I'm just picking up paint from the bottom that didn't stay on the mug, just to not waste paint. You know, paint supplies can be pretty expensive. If you can save as much paint as possible, that is a good thing. Oops. And so this, video just kind of shows you the challenges that can come with doing a project like this. They don't turn out perfectly. Art isn't about being perfect. Art is about the beauty in some of the imperfections and some of the unknowns of what is going to happen when you're doing something like this. Especially in paint pouring, you mix colors together and you don't really ever know what your outcome is going to be. It's always different. Even if you mix the same colors together in the same proportions, the pour will never be the same, ever. So I am going to just let this finish running, coating, and we'll come back to it when it's dry and finished. Okay, so here we are in the studio the next day. Here is our mug that we poured. The bottom isn't dry, but I want to move it onto this baking tray with a red Solo cup so that it can continue drying. The rim of the cup down where the paint is thinner is dry, so if you carefully pick your cup up off of the cup that you spun it on and put it over here to dry, it'll finish drying the rest of the way. And then we will be able to resin this cup. But it turned out really cool with stripes of berry, silver, and gold on there. And as I said in my update, I will be showing you how to resin mugs in general in another video. But here's our finished product from this tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed.